Okay, so today we're going to be learning how to trim your project on the wheel. So what you're going to do is you're going to need your project. You're going to need kind of a lump of clay because we're going to use that to hold our project in place. And then you're going to need whatever tools you think you're going to need to just be carving out some of the decorative designs, as well as a ribbon or loop tool to do a lot of the carving on the bottom. I'm also going to have a needle tool so I can write my name on the bottom. So I also have a bucket of water here and a sponge that I'll use in just a minute. So the first thing that you want to do is actually recenter your project upside down on the wheel head. So I'm going to flip this over. Okay. There's a couple ways that you can do this. You don't want to drop your project because this one actually is bone dry. Your guys's hopefully are leather hard. That's what you want them to be. That's the best time for carving is when it's leather hard. So it's a little bit wetter than what I have right here. If it is bone dry, you can still trim. That's fine. So you'll see what it looks like when it's bone dry. I'm looking at the rings on my wheel head here. And what I'm doing is I'm just trying to look at them, have even spacing around, and trying to get it centered. Now I'm going to take my little lump of clay. I'm going to form 3 little spheres. And what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to make little stoppers with them so my project doesn't fly off the wheel. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this little lump of clay, I'm kind of scooting it up next to my project, but the first step is to actually press it down to the wheel, okay? And then gently up to the project. Make sure your project doesn't shift as you do this. And then I'm going to put one up here in front. And I'm going to make like a little triangle. So again, I'm pressing down to the wheel, then I'm going to press up to my project. Make sure you don't push too hard. Again, this is bone dry. If I push too hard, it's going to crack off. And then the last one's going to just go on the back here. So I'm pressing down and then up to my project. Okay, so this is just going to keep the project in place so that it doesn't fly off of the wheel. Now that I have that, okay, I could just start going at this and carving. But I'm going to show you a little trick. You don't want to do this very much. But I'm going to turn it on. I have a very damp sponge. And I could just gently kind of wet it down just a little bit. Okay, I don't want to introduce a whole bunch more water. That's actually really hard on your clay body to do that. So I'm just adding a little bit. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ribbon tool or my loop tool. It's your preference what you like to work with. And how you trim is that the wheel should be spinning away from your tool. So my wheel is spinning this way. So that means I'm going to take my hands, brace with both hands and stabilize my arms on the edge of the wheel. And I'm going to start somewhere here in the middle. Okay? And this is where you really got to hold on to your tool. And all I'm doing is I'm starting to draw a straight line outward towards the edge of my project. Now when you run into bumps and grooves, that's when your tool is going to try and move around on you. Okay? So you can definitely slow it down at this point if you would like to. Unfortunately, this wheel only has one speed. Okay? And then on the sides here, if I want it to be angled, maybe I want to switch to a different size loop tool to get a better angle, I can take and angle it however I want my footer to look. So again, you see how my tool is kind of moving around a bunch. I want to try and be as stable as possible. Sometimes it moves around so much because we're off center. Okay, so you might have to stop, recenter, and then go again. So I'm just going to stop it for right now. So that you can see there's actually these gouge marks that go out. That means that I'm either moving too fast if they're really, really big, or I'm not moving fast enough. So I still have some ridges on here that I need to fix. So I'm gonna just take some time to carve this out. You can just watch and see what I'm doing. But you'll notice when it's bone dry, I'm going very, very slowly and the dust particles are coming up. You don't necessarily want to inhale this because it can be kind of hard on your lungs. But if it's leather hard, what you'll see are little ribbons coming off. So you need to pay attention to how much you're actually trimming off the bottom. Because if you trim too much, you're going to trim and poke a hole through your bowl. So sometimes you can pause if you're not sure and then lift the project up. Check to see how much is left between the bottom there and the inside. If it feels really like thin, then I wouldn't trim anymore. Okay, so I'm just going to take some time here, finish trimming this up. I'm going to show you how to make a footer here, but I'm going to get some of this main stuff down first. To trim the bottom of your project, you want to hold the tool flat across the top. To do the side of your project, you want to hold it straight up and down or at the angle that you are trying to carve your bowl. Next, you can start creating a footer, which is only going from the center out to a certain point, and this creates a little divot in the bottom of your project. Then you can just smooth it out, write your name, and then clean up the wheel.